All right, everybody, welcome to the Monday night Storm Cometh campaign, Storm King's Thunder. Storm King's Thunder. We're still missing a couple players, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. They'll hopefully join us when they get here. I do know one is out sick for sure, so we probably be down at least one, our Druid. Hopefully nobody needs any heals, right? That'll be okay. You guys in-game are sitting and looking at the map because I thought that'd be a good spot just to bring everybody back in before we jump back into the action. The viewers are going to be able to see the new screen I put up, which has everybody's character class name on a new kind of splash screen before we jump over to the actual real map. So I thought this would be a good point for our recap. If Teagraiel wants to recap a little bit of what we did in our last session last Monday.
Let's see. So I believe we picked up where we were crossing the small river coming out of Waterdeep Forest and taking the road going to Nightstone after we camped after our bonfire of clues. And then we ended up not having anything happen as we went to Nightstone, but as we got closer to it, we started hearing this bell incessantly ringing. And as we which made the party kind of go into, scout mode and be careful on approaching the Nightstone. Once we got to the entrance to Nightstone, the drawbridge was down, and we carefully made our way on. And as we passed the first walls, we saw that there were lots of large rocks and boulders that had been were all over the village. They'd crashed through some of the roofs, and we could see off in the village square 2 wargs mauling something or someone, and they were so interested in what they were doing that they didn't notice us. So we let's see, I believe the ranger went up into one of the drawbridge towers to take cover. I think Aila went forward to stealthily trying to get a closer look on the wargs, and the rest of us went a little bit to the north after entering the town to the church where the bell was ringing. I think it's Jarral went north of that around the church, and then Greybeard decided that he needed a boost to look inside the church window. He was going to take a look, so Teagraiel and the Druid helped him up, which he proceeded to bash through that's his version of looking, was bashing through the window and jumping inside and wreaking havoc. He got the bell to stop, but then he entered combat with some goblins, which alerted the wargs, which went into combat, and I think that's where we left it off after a couple of us jumped into the church to help kill the goblins, and those outside finished off the 2 wargs. I believe that's where we ended it.
Yeah, that's exactly. We're sitting at the very front of the Nightstone, the town, and we're kind of in the town square. I'll show the viewers a little bit. We do have dynamic lighting on, so the players are only able to see some of the dynamic lighting. So if I come over here to Jarral.
Jarral.
Jarral. And you can see what he could see. So the buildings block line of sight, and a couple of the players are off to the right inside the building as some of the buildings were drawn as a separate part of the map. So we have a couple people that are outside in the town square, and I'll just move our audience over so they can see. And we have a couple that are still in the temple where we just ended up 3 of our players in the temple. So that's where Teagraiel and Greybeard and Armel, the Druid, are inside the temple room, having dispatched 2 goblins. and then we have 3 outside, which is Ian, Jarral, and Aila. All right, so we, having just defeated both of the encounters that were kind of happening simultaneously, which was really nice for us and you guys, we are going to go ahead and we're out of initiative. So at this point, we can go ahead and begin to do things as just normal. So I will let you guys decide or tell me what you would like to do.
As a reminder, what's happening outside of the city? It's plains, and did you say there was a forest in the background?
There is a forest to your northeast of this town. There's woods. You do recall. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but not in like my visual range. From the city?
No, not really. I mean, there's trees and stuff here that dot the landscape. If I zoom out, let me see if there's anything. But it's mostly, yeah, the forest is to the north and northeast of you, so it's just mostly plains. Now, you do remember, though, that you had seen some tracks, and when you had made your check, you weren't able to determine, but now that you've seen these wargs, it triggers your kind of memory to say, oh, okay, I get it now. Those are the tracks I was seeing. I was seeing the tracks of Worgs and Goblins. And you feel like if you were to maybe go back out there and just look again, that you might get a better idea of how many have come to the town.
Okay. So what I want to do before I go and do that, I want to just look over, like take a minute or two to look out, or take a minute and just look out into the plains and see if anybody else is going to come now that the incessant ringing has stopped. That has triggered anything. So I'm just going to be on the top of the guard tower and just keep an eye out for any movement out there coming towards the city.
Yeah, and the bell stopped ringing right about the same time the 2 wargs went down. And remember, you had jumped down from the tower, and you were standing in front of it. But the bell ringing has now stopped, say, for probably just a couple of minutes. And are you going to climb back up in the tower, or are you just going to go back to the drawbridge to see that?
Well, it's all plain, so I'll just go down outside.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead and move your character. Yeah, you're not seeing anything. You do not see anything at the moment. And you can see quite a ways. I mean, it almost maybe a mile off. You're not seeing anything at the moment.
Except that giant thing to the north.
Yeah, except the map icon. That shows true north. That is not a thing. Unless you want it to be a thing. Right. You can make it a thing.
No, that's fine. I'm good. So yeah, I just spend my next minute out there, and then I look at the tracks.
Okay, so we'll give you that minute. Let's catch everybody else up. Let's finish the people that are outside for a moment. Jarral, you see Ian start to move towards the drawbridge. You're standing in between 2 giant wargs that were pretty vicious. And what do you want to do?
As I see Ian walk out across the drawbridge, I kind of furrow my brow and shake my head, and then I realize that we don't know what's going on with the other folks. Now that we've finished with these 2 wargs, I'm gonna run over to the door and knock loudly on it.
Okay, so that's happening in the same minute. We're going to say Ayla's just going to stay right with you. Group in the tower. So you've stopped the bell ringing, and this has all happened pretty simultaneously. You are now standing in this room. Teagraiel, you're in there at the moment, so what is it you would like to do?
I'm going to assume that Greybeard is going to pick over the goblin corpses, so I'm going to go to the door and open it.
Okay. Yeah. So probably you're halfway across the room there, the next room when you go through the one door, halfway across the room, and then you start hearing the knocking from the other side. And you guys don't actually know from inside what's going on with the wargs at this point too. So keep that in mind. You don't know that fight's over. And yeah, Jarral, you don't know that the fight inside has even happened or is over. But keep that in mind. And yeah, I'll have Greybeard do a search while you're doing that, so you can move your character if you want. And Armel will just actually follow you to the door. And okay, so we'll put you there. So Greybeard finds Greybeard ends up finding a couple of sacks of 2 sacks that these two goblins had dropped when they drew their swords and tried to attack you guys. And he finds various things inside there. He grabs both sacks and then will bring them and walk them over to you guys at this point and meet you guys in the 5A room.
All right. When I hear the knocking, I'm gonna shout, "Who is it? What's the password?"
Who do you think it is? What the hell's going on in there?
Sounds like a goblin, Greybeard. I don't think we should open it.
Greybeard grumbles,
I
opens the door.
continue knocking. Or actually,
Greybeard
more like
opens the door.
pounding.
Yeah. Okay, door's open. You want me to move you into that room?
Sure.
We're over to the right-hand side now.
Right.
All right, so that brings us back to Aila. I guess we'll join you guys in there. So you're all standing in that 5A room except Ian. Oh, well, 5A on my screen, I guess. 5A to the viewers. And Ian, you were able to do something while that has all happened.
All right, I look at the tracks and try and determine what else came into this.
All right, let's nail your first roll of the night. Give me a...
Yeah, it's gonna go great.
Should be a survival, right?
Yeah.
There it is. All right, you've got a pretty good idea that there were definitely 2 wargs. You're not seeing any more tracks for any other wargs. But you do think there was somewhere around anywhere from a dozen to a dozen goblins footprints that you're seeing. And now you're also starting to see a bunch of what looks like other human footprints. Could be, just regular humanoid footprints. They seem to all be heading north. It looks like a group of them must have headed north, as far as you can tell. And it looks like the goblin tracks and the warg tracks head back towards the drawbridge as a group. So, like, at some point, this group came from the north east, but it also looks like you picked up another group that must have went north.
Okay, so the wargs and the goblins came from the northeast, and the humans went north. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting here. Okay.
Yep. So you're seeing 2 distinct groupings of tracks. There was definitely one group that went north, and there was one group that came from the... Actually, let me change that to the northwest. That's what I meant to say, was the northwest. Had my direction wrong there.
It's the other east.
See, Greybeard's hosting us, so that might mean he's joining anytime.
Yar, that might mean that.
Hey, Greybeard's here.
So it looked like a lot of humans, like a whole herd of humans came by?
Yeah,
or just-
it's a big group. Big group. In fact, it's so big and there's so many tracks that you're not able to say exactly how many, but it definitely give me an insight check.
I were an insight check, I would be right there.
Yeah.
About 2.
The 2.
It's a big group. That's what you're getting. You're like, yeah, it's definitely a big group. It's definitely humanoid. It's definitely humans and, regular races with boots and stuff. It's not like any other types of tracks. But you're not getting a good number from it.
So after I do that, I immediately run back to the church, and how tall is that window that the
Not very. It was like waist height was the bottom of it, but once he smashed it, you could run up to it and look in it.
Once I finish doing that, I want to run in and jump through that window and find my compatriots. However long it takes me to track.
Yeah, so let's bring you back to just under. Go ahead and move your token to just under the building there, and then I'll move you in as we get to the point where you actually jump through. Okay, group inside. What Jarral and Aila have just walked in, and Greybeard has just come from the other room where he has just searched 2 goblins, and he happens to have 2 sacks in his hands at the moment as he comes walking across the room.
Who locked the door? It nearly killed me.
Sorry, I was trying to make sure the wargs didn't follow me in.
It's good that they did not. So what is happening in here?
Greybeard was being friendly with the natives.
Dead natives.
I see. Is that what the gonging was?
Yeah, a couple of gobos up in the tower.
Also, let me give Jarl as you walked in, you would have seen that you are obviously in a temple, wooden temple. You're seeing different symbols of dawning sun, trees, unicorns. Sunlight is kind of coming in through the windows, especially the big window that's been busted. There's lots of wooden benches, as you can see in the main room that you guys are in. And you do see a door across the way, and you see some steps that lead up to like the pew where the sermon would be taking, is the pulpit. That's what you'd see when you walked into that room.
Would I know what religion this is, or?
You would need to do a check. You could try that. Do you have a religion skill?
No.
I think you can still roll it even if you don't have the proficiency in it.
Oh.
No, you know, like some of it looks familiar, like, and you probably think maybe you should know it because you've kind of, it's obviously top worlder gods, and you've been making an effort to kind of learn, you know, the different things and be able to recognize them. But at the moment, nothing's popping into your head as to know which one.
I guess I go over to the is it a pew or an altar?
It's like it's more like a pew, like where it's a raised pulpit. So it's got like 3 or 4 steps on the back side of it, and then it has, you know, the lectern where the guy would stand and give the sermons.
I'll go over to the lectern and kind of take a look at it and see if there's anything left behind, or...
Yeah, does it look like it's been sacked by the goblins that were in here?
This whole room is pretty empty with just the plain benches. It doesn't even look like there would have been stuff here to sack, so it doesn't even look like there's much searching. Even the room, actually, the floor is dirt, and the pulpit area is just a wooden kind of stand, and no drawers, no pretty basic, you know, 4 pieces of wood standing there where somebody would stand in front of it and maybe place a book of some sort on top of it. There's no book there at the moment.
Okay, so there's no book. Okay.
I asked Greybeard when he first encountered the goblins, were they actually ringing the bell?
Yep.
All right, Ian, just as he's saying that, that's when you come vaulting through in dramatic fashion. You can describe that.
Oh yeah, like, oh man, how would I describe it? Like straight up. Oh man, oh my screen just went all dark. Sorry.
You got to move to the right now. I moved you into the temple.
There we go. Found it. Okay, so I jump in like head first, and I do a roll to my feet. So I jump in, roll, get up to my feet, and I start looking for my compatriots. Is that the right word? Comrades. My buddies, old pals.
Yeah, you should be able to see them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, they're all kind of standing there.
All right. What do I see when I get in there?
You had just heard, you see the four of them standing there. You see the same kind of things that they had seen. You're seeing, sunlight pours in from the windows that are around the room. There's an open door over near where they're kind of standing. You see a slightly ajar door to your north a little bit. Around the pew there, you're kind of right below the pew, and Jarral probably had moved over to there and was inspecting that just as you come vaulting through the window.
And no
dirt floor.
No dead goblins here.
No dead goblins. You're seeing pews, but it's really more like a meeting room, but you're not seeing like shelves or desks or anything like that. It's just more of like a room of worship, and then that's about it so far.
All right, so I run up to them about right there.
You guys can move around in the room as you want. There's no initiative at the moment.
Yeah,
If you're going to leave, let me know, and I'll move you back to the other map.
I run over to the dwarf between... God, Greybeard? Is that his name? Your name? Greybeard?
Yep.
So many weird names. And I very hurriedly say, I recheck the tracks. There seem to have been 2 wargs, which we have now defeated, but also about 6 to 12 goblins. We need to be careful, and we need to stay aware of our surroundings.
Then my next question to the group would be, why were they ringing the bell?
Who is ringing the bell?
The goblins so incessantly.
They're goblins.
Yeah, Greybeard, give me an insight check from your character sheet if you can. Oh, are you in the... I don't see you in the roll 20.
Oops, give me a minute.
Do you want me to roll it while you're getting in?
That'd be great.
Okay, I'll bring Greybeard up. I think I can roll it from here. Should be... Oh, yep, insight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When you had entered that room, you recall that both of those goblins were jumping up and down on the rope, laughing hysterically, and seemed to be having all the fun that they possibly could have, ringing that bell incessantly.
Then my earlier statement stands. They're goblins.
I say, how many goblins were in here?
I don't know, less than a handful.
That is not good news now that the ringing has stopped. They might come looking for their friends. And I immediately walk over to the door and I look. If it's closed, I creak it open just to look outside, and if it's open, I look around the corner to the north.
After she walks away, I nudge Teagraiel with an elbow and say, never mind. I say, then we don't have to go looking for them. They'll come to us.
I'll move you over so you're just looking out. Your character's not standing out in the open, but I'll put you there so that's what you would see. And you're not seeing anything else. Nothing else has popped up in the courtyard, or you don't see anything.
All right, and I keep an
Keep
ear
going.
out for any pitter patter of goblin feet.
Ooh, give me a perception check.
So there's no other rooms in the church. It's just this room that we're in, and then wherever the two goblins were.
There's a cupola up, which might give us good visual.
Yeah,
But
there's
I
where the bell
I
is.
smile to Greybeard. I like that idea.
Keeping track of these.
Yep,
We got
I
an
see that
11,
one.
a 10, and
And
a 12.
yeah, you can go into the room, Jarral. It's just there's a door on the west side. Actually, since there's nothing in there now, let me do this. Let me. This might mess everything up. Give me a second.
Oh, there I am. I found myself. This is a very
That worked.
large map.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
So Grey, what's in the bag? Z plural.
I look because I can't remember or wasn't here.
Yep, let me finish this real quick and I will read that off to you.
These stairs, do they go anywhere?
The one's upstairs?
Yeah, I think it goes to the bell tower.
Oh, so where the two
Where the
dead.
bell was.
So where I am right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when you search those bags, Greybeard, you had found, and you have them in your hands. They're sitting in front of you. And inside those bags were 3 blocks of incense, a silver holy symbol shaped like a unicorn's head. It looks like some stolen personal effects. And the other sack holds 3 empty vials and a wooden box, like a small wooden rectangle box is in the sack. And the personal effects seem like little knick-knacky kind of things that they must have just picked up from somewhere.
All right, so incense, holy symbol, unicorn's head, a little box, and knickknacks.
That's correct.
Well, I'm just still outside looking for baddies.
Aila and Armel will also. You're just sitting right there. They're going to sit outside with you.
Yeah, just keeping an eye out. Left and right, or north and south.
So I will move them close to you. They'll
Sounds like
stay
the
kind of
bastards.
pressed up against the wall, and they are outside with you. So what would the inside group like to do?
What sort of check would I need to do to examine the unit? Like, would I recognize the unicorn head as a symbol of something?
That would be a religion check. So you could look at that symbol.
Didn't do too good the first time. All right. Oh, booyah.
Yeah, that seems to jog your memory now, and it's a silver holy symbol of Maliki.
Maliki. Do I know anything about Maliki?
Good question. Do I know anything about Maliki? Better question. You know that would be the goddess of forests.
Okay.
Yeah, It looks like her symbols are that of the unicorn or trees are sometimes used.
This unicorn head, it looks familiar. If I recall, it could be a symbol of the goddess Maliki. She's the goddess of forests. I wonder if it has anything to do with the elves that we are here to help negotiate an agreement with. If the goblins have it, perhaps there is treachery.